Hello, it's Julie Rothall here. As promised, I am jumping on live to do some encaustic wax painting, and I'm going to use my stylus today. If you caught me yesterday, I have my hot plate fired up. I'm going to do something different today. So let me turn around and show you. So yesterday I was painting on the hot plate. So if you didn't see that, you'll find it wherever you're watching this on. It's on YouTube. It's on my I've shared it in a few places now actually. So today I'm going to paint with my stylus. Now I've got to just sort out the tech. I had a bit of a mad panic a minute ago. I went to open my drawer and put my stylus on and I couldn't find it. So I was running around. Let's see how this works. Yeah, flying through, opening drawers, trying to find it, and it had fallen down the back of my unit. So anyway, I did find it. So we're all good. We're good to go again. But yeah, it was a bit of a blind panic actually, having told everybody that I was going to come on at 11 o'clock and do a live video using my stylus. I thought I was maybe not going to be able to. Anyhow, all good now. So, same drill as yesterday. I'm going to paint for a bit. I'll come back and check the comments. So if you have any comments or just say hello, let me know that you're watching. That'll be cool. Hopefully you can see this okay. So I've got I'm painting using some wax blocks, and actually today I'm using a paper. It's actually encaustic wax paper, a specialist paper that's designed for use with encaustic. So yeah, I'm just going to start just doing a bit of painting. So if I turn this around, there's no force or anything. What you should see is this, I don't know if you can see this reservoir in the middle. It's full now, but that is actually now, it's a bit like works a bit like a fountain pen. That's now full with wax, so I can start drawing. So sometimes I kick off and I just really don't know what to paint, and I want to do that. I just start by doing this and just get into the flow of applying the wax. And once I make a start, I then normally fire myself up and just kind of get into the flow again. Sometimes it can be tricky to get started, but once you're going, I don't know how well this is going to come across in the video, but it is so therapeutic to do, and you just lose yourself. I'm going to keep going until I run out of wax, so you can see roughly how much wax from one nibful I can get. Nearly run out now. Yeah, that's about it. That's it, done. So if you see now, that is, you can see that sort of reservoir within the tip, where am I, there, is now completely empty. So I'll go back in now and let me turn it that way. Hopefully you'll be able to watch it. You don't need to apply any pressure. Can you see? Hopefully you saw that just the heat of the stylus draws the wax up from the wax block. And I've got all these wax blocks with funny little shapes in, and that's all that is where I've dipped my stylus in. So yeah, the stylus is lovely to work with. You can either just literally kind of paint with it, you can get quite good coverage quite quickly actually. You know, you can write, you can draw. I haven't come on with a finished design in my mind. I just kind of wanted to show you how it worked really. You can start. I don't know if you've heard of Zentangle. I never had, and then I discovered them, and this is basically what I liken it to. So just a case of making shapes and patterns, not really kicking off with a finished design in mind. colouring things in, joining them up. Great for mindfulness, actually, you know, this big, a bit like you get the colouring books. This is my version of that with wax. I don't normally tend to share these too much. When I do these, I tend to just do them for myself, just to lose myself for half an hour. So let me see if anybody's, hopefully you can see this okay. I can't see that anybody's on live, so if you are there, say hello. But if not, or if you're catching up on the replay, let me know too. Like a join the dots. Who did those as a kid? Join the dots. Oh man, I used to love join the dots. I've just gone back to my childhood. Anyhow, what I kind of want to get across is how relaxing it is to do. So I'm going to change colour, I think. Go for a blue. So you can either sit the colours side by side, or you can begin to blend them. And from there, in the same way that you would any other painting, you can, you know, if you kind of want to finish a created, you know, finished a scene or a, you know, portrait or still life, you would just literally just blend the wax in the same way that you would any paint, and just use the heat of the stylus to manipulate and blend the colours. Got two quite similar colours here, which probably isn't, but you know, same thing. If it was blue and green, sorry, blue and yellow to make green, that, you know, they're exactly the same principles. You just start blending your colours in to get your shades and tones. I don't know how well this is coming across, can you see? So anyway, as I say, I'm not here doing a finished piece at the moment. Just showing you how to how the stylus works. People often ask as well if whether it's a, what's the word? They see a photo of it, they ask if it's a soldering iron, and I think a soldering iron would just get too hot. This is a tool specifically made for encaustic. I'm just looking for, I've actually got an attachment, I thought it was here. So there are loads of different attachments for this, so you can kind of have, if you want to cover larger areas, they've got these, there are, you know, rectangles, oblongs. There's a paintbrush attachment, which is the one I was looking for. It's not to hand right now, but I'll show you how to change them. So there's two different types. Sometimes I use a screwdriver. Just unscrew it, pull the nib out and replace it. This one is actually a screw-in one, so this bit is really, really hot, so I'm not going to touch that, hence my use of tissue. Okay, so that's now come out of the stylus. Put that down there. And because this is cool, I'm going to use my fingers for this, for screwing in. Oops. Hopefully you can see this okay. And then that's my alternative one. Tip. It'll take a minute just to heat up, so you can see it's not taking too long, it's beginning to warm. Can you see that in the mirror okay? Not in the mirror, in the camera. Hopefully you can see that glistening. Let's put it in there. I might be able to see a little bit easier. I'm not sure. But basically, once that has heated, which you see doesn't take long at all, oops, dropping it now. Try and keep it horizontal or you end up with, but you can then get these lovely larger areas. Bit of blue. Get as much that time. Can't see anybody on live, so I think this time on a Sunday morning clearly isn't a good time. But not a problem, I might jump on again later. But if you want to catch any of these replays, you can find all of this. I've got, so basically painting with hot wax, you can use so many different tools. Sometimes I use paintbrushes, sometimes I use my stylus here. There's no single way to paint with it. So I have lots of information on my blogs, and my isn't moving as quickly as I would like. I'm going to turn it up a bit. Information on my blogs and website. I have online courses. You can book one-to-one sessions. So there's lots of information, lots of ways. So if this is pulling up questions for you, then check them out. Feel free to ask any questions. Just play with it to your heart's content, basically. The beauty of encaustic is you don't have to have a finished design in mind. I love, well, most of my work is really pretty intuitive now. I just kind of go with what is in front of me. And encaustic is just perfect for that. Sometimes I don't if I'm painting a portrait or something, but this is the fun of it. Start out by just laying some wax down and then go over it and see what you can, designs you can get. A bit of a mess, but it's so fun to do. And then you know you can edge your pictures. You can do all sorts of. This is just a little play piece, but you can get very elaborate or not, as you wish. So this is a really nice. This size of card actually is great for card making, and just kind of smaller pieces, but it's very so therapeutic. But yeah, check out my online courses and things as well, videos, blogs, and if you've got lots of questions, encaustic brings up so many questions, so check out my frequently asked questions page, or on the online courses I think there's a Learn Encaustic page as well. If you just type in my website artyheaven.com/learn encaustic, and there are 3 videos there that share some of the different styles. So sometimes I'll paint with an iron, sometimes I will paint with a stylus, so sometimes I've got my hot plate fired up over here. So there are so many different ways. This is a really lovely way for I've had a lot of teenagers through to, this is suitable for everybody. Although it's hot in terms of heat, we're actually working at a fairly low temperature. Because we're working in a single layer on paper, it's not as high a heat as some of the other styles of wax that I paint with. So it's a really great entry point for anybody that just wants to get a bit creative. The other style I build up in layers, which is a little bit of what I was doing yesterday. It all intermixes really nicely, so don't get hung up on where you start. But that uses a slightly different wax, which is a higher grade. And what that enables you to do is to build up in layers. So you need to work at a much higher heat with that style. So you need to make sure you've got good ventilation, and just understand some of the health and safety basics with it, really. But that is beautiful. You can mix all sorts of mixed media in with it. Loads of things you can do. So yeah, check out, as I say, those, you know, the resources will help you decide where you want to start with it, but don't get too hung up on it, because they all, you can just build on it. You know, just start with it. And I always say trust what comes to you. If you know, if you feel called to something, then look at those colours, aren't they happy? Yeah, if you feel, you know, if you like the look of a particular style, then jump with that and work out how to, you know, if you're not sure which, if you see a piece and you're like, I really want to know how to do that, give me a shout and I can tell you which style of wax it is. But as a rule, if it's on paper, generally, there's no one rule of anything with encaustic. I think that's the first thing to say. But generally, if it's on paper, it tends to be this lower heat wax, which is, it's so great for, you know, well, not for tiny children, but for, you know, anybody can use this, and it's really easy to work with. If it tends to be on the wooden supports, on the wooden boards, kind of like this, then this is the style that works at the higher heat, and you just need to make sure you've got good ventilation and you understand the health and safety benefit, you know, health and safety aspects of that. But as I say, there's information on my website around it, but don't be put off and afraid of it. It's just brilliant. You just need to understand where you're coming from. And then let's turn this around. Right, look at those colours. If you can see that. Anyway, oops. So I just, I've got my finger over the camera. I just decided to go live and not worry about the tech. I know it's not perfect, but yeah, if I sat and waited until everything was perfect, I would never get these lives out. So, and I just wanted to share that with you. One other tip with the stylus as well is I tend to, I've got like a utensil pot. I'd like to stand them up in there just because this gets super hot. And the, you know, you can easily lean it either up against a block of wax, or also the cables. You don't want to get it near the cables. So by putting it in that, you know, just get an old utensil pot that's fairly sturdy, that's not going to flip. That's my top tip for staying safe with your stylus. Right, anyhow, I'm going to leave it there. Hope you've enjoyed looking at, if you're catching this on the replay, let me know. Yeah, and if you, as I say, just check out my website, artyheaven.com. There is lots of information on there. Yeah, and if you've got any questions, let me know. Bye.